So I recently played Red Faction 2 for the first time. I know it came out many, many, many years ago, and I played Red Faction, the first one, around the time frame that first one originally came out. I was interested in the geomod technology, it kind of having a storyline to it, because even though I played Counter-Strike, Team Fortress Classic at some point, which are mods of Half-Life, I never actually played a single player campaign of Half-Life. So playing Red Faction 1, where having that kind of story kind of element to it, following along to some degree. Not an amazing story, but the characters are pretty good, pretty cool, what have you. I enjoyed it. Later on, I eventually enjoyed Halo quite a bit. But that's neither here nor there. It's about Red Faction 2. Very arcadey, different than Red Faction 1. Story not as easy to follow along with. I'm still really not sure what's going on. I know Red Faction is just a crew and you got different parts of it with, I don't know, good guys, bad guys turn good guys turn bad. Who knows? A little hard to follow along. But one people, Red Faction, whatever, going against the bad guys. Can't remember what the bad guys are called. But yeah, kind of arcadey. Reminds me of Time Crisis, except that the aim is better on the weapons, but it has that arcadey Time Crisis feel, kind of look to it. But obviously a longer game. Time Crisis games are about an hour, and it's difficult shooting the aim and different things of that nature because they're arcade in nature. So it's not going to be that easy. They want you to spend quarters. Anyway, Red Faction, made for home enjoyment. Arcadey, yes. But I like the way the weapons handle. Seem to be some improvements in terms of frame rate. Because I did revisit Red Faction 1 quite a bit before I played Red Faction 2. Somehow I didn't finish Red Faction 1 when I recently played it, because I saved it at the wrong point where I was dying and couldn't get where I need to be. Outside exosuit thing going on was near the end of the game. But I'm going to finish Red Faction 1 at some point, start over, play again at some point. Shouldn't take me that long. Red Faction 2. I didn't really know about it when it came out. I don't know, for some reason. I don't know, I just didn't seem interested, or I was playing my Xbox at that time. I was essentially done with PlayStation 2, using it as a DVD player, so. But yeah, Red Faction 2. Fun arcade experience. As you go along, level select. I beat this game on medium difficulty. Biggest gripe near the end of the game, where you had to enter this nanosphere type thing. It took me a while to get past that part, because once it was opened up and hacked, I didn't know where to go. I kept trying to land on top of these square, like, landing thing that stuck out from this sphere of the nanosphere. But in reality, you have to go underneath those things. I don't know, both opens or one open. I eventually got lucky in picking the right one, but I did have to look it up. You have to go under the platform, which sticks out like these squares. Go under it, look up, and go into it. You're in the submarine. So, but there's no like a actual opening that you can see that you enter into. The first game, Red Faction 1, when you had being in the submarine, you knew where to go, where to enter into when you go into the next little area. It's open space. I don't know why they made this difficult. And the only other difficult part about this game is just making sure you pick the right weapons at the right time for the right scenario as you progress, especially use the more powerful weapons as you progress. And in certain boss fights, and picking the right angles, and strafing and moving. So it's arcade in that sense, but the weapons do feel better in terms of handling. They're not labeled with any kind of names or anything, the weapons. You just select through it, and you just gotta remember, hey, that's a powerful weapon because it looks kind of big, and I got it recently. That's pretty much the basis of it. On rails sections with aircrafts, vehicles, mechs, and I enjoy it like that. I don't like do fumbling around too much with it. I like to be able to shoot and use my shooting skills. So yeah, it's interesting. It's fun to play. I almost say it's a pick up and play kind of thing, like the Time Crisis series, where you just have a good arcade type fun. Go back, select some levels, go through it, increase the difficulty. Just do that. So that's the fun part about it. Story-wise, Red Faction 1. I'm going to stick with that. I just like the journey of going through the game. I like the set pieces and things of that nature. Seemed a little more, I don't want to say realistic, but it's just more interesting. But the good part about Red Faction 2 is when you do get partners, they don't always die like in Red Faction 1. You actually got people that you can shoot with when you're playing this game. Even though some may die or may disappear, but there are a period of time where they're not just there for the story. You know, there's actually someone shooting, helping you along, and at some points they are pretty helpful. So yes, Red Faction 2. Glad I played it. Arcade fun. I'll put it in there with the Time Crisis series, and actually might revisit it more than the Time Crisis series, at least 2 and 3. So that's how I feel about it. Just a fun arcade shooter for the home. There's some story there. Maybe gotta look it up to follow along, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Red Faction, always a classic. Almost like a workers' right kind of thing. It's easy to follow along because, hey, they run experiments on these workers. They mistreat these workers. People want to Mars to find a better life. And you're just pushing back against that. Pushing back against the corporation. Pushing back being taken advantage of. Basic, easy story to follow along, and applies to many people's lives from 100 years ago and probably 100 years in the future. Workers versus the man, the boss, these big corporations taking advantage of people. Timeless story in that regard, unfortunately, but it's easy to follow along with this first one in regards to that, and you feel like you triumphing as you're going through and you're doing what you need to do. So in terms of story, yeah, Red Faction 1 is superior. Red Faction 2 handles a little bit better. This is an arcade you just want to pick up and play. And maybe there's even a cheat code to unlock the levels, but you can just pick up and play. There is an autosave feature that comes up after certain sections. You can't save it manually like you could in Red Faction 1. Red Faction 1 had the manual save. We could save it at any time. And that's a good thing. Even though it's my fault when I played it recently, when I saved at a bad time. And also that I only did one save file. So I should have had a couple save files. I could at least went back, and I had to start from scratch. But yeah, good thing about Red Faction 1, it's like snapshot, save me anytime. So yeah, that's how I feel about Red Faction 2. Don't expect too much, just treat it like an arcade game, and then you'll enjoy it. I'm out. Iceberg Jim out. Deuces.